Hey guys, it's me again with a Chronomancer Starter update. There's a few things that have been data mined from the POE2 website ahead of the preload and the pre-download for early access, which is later today. Two mechanics I want to discuss are Recoup and Slows. So Chronomancer has Recoup ascendancy points. Specifically, it has number 7, which is Circular Heartbeat. 30% of damage taken is recouped as life, and 8, which is the Rapid River. Recoup effects instead occur over 4 seconds. Now this is huge in POE2 because Recoup instead takes place over 8 seconds, whereas in POE1 it is 4 seconds by default. Chronomancer is the Recoup specialist. This is the go-to I want to stack Recoup ascendancy, and it means that we can use it as a pretty decent form of recovery. It's not the be-all end-all. It has its weaknesses, for example, one-shots and damage over time, but we have Life Flask. We'll just drink Life Flask, right? We actually get a bunch of sources of Recoup across the passive tree. I don't know if we can get any on gear, but we get close to 90%, 91%, 100%, depending on the damage source that you take. So we get 30% from our Ascension, we get 27% of damage taken, specifically 12% of this is generic damage, and then 15% of it as physical or elemental damage. We then get 8 plus 6% for another 14%. So far we have 41, 71% of damage taken, and then you take off 15% from that, which is 56% for chaos damage. So right now, with just these points, which are pretty close on the passive tree to the witch starting area, we're already recouping over half of the damage that we take over 4 seconds. These other recoup nodes are more specialist points, so we have 12% of extra damage taken recouped as life, which isn't much, but then you get this extra 25% recoup speed, which I'm assuming just means that for our purposes, recoup takes place over 3.5 seconds instead of 4 seconds. Adverse growth, which is 20% of damage taken as mana, so this will just be extra way to sustain. If we end up going Mind Over Matter or Eldritch Battery or both, then this will be a great way to regenerate our mana, other than our mana flask, you know, we still have a mana flask. And finally, Glazed Flesh, which is 3% of damage recouped as life, mana, and energy shield. It's just like a little bolster to all 3 resources, which is pretty nice. You can also get up to 12% recoup on your small nodes on that cluster. So if we add all of that up, we get, what's this, 15, 27, 41, 68, 98% of damage recouped, and then you take away 15 for chaos damage, which is 83%. So we'll just take a quick look at the passive tree when it comes to your recoup nodes. We've got a little bit of recoup at the bottom, like just to the right at the start, which is 14%. This big cluster, as you go up the tree anyway, this is 27%. You've got the mana recoup on the left side from this more centralized point near the top of the tree. We've got the Glazed Flesh, which is at the very top on the left. And then we've got our recoup speed, which is kind of the outlier node. It's the furthest away from anything else. You'll want to grab like your Eldritch Battery, your spell damage, your mana, your other stuff, and then grab it at the end. The other mechanic I want to talk about is slows. Now slows are confirmed to be multiplicative with other sources of slows, and I'm going to be using the slow from the ascendancy node for 20%. I'm going to be using it with temporal chains, which is a curse which slows, and I'm going to combine that with cold spells, which chill, and chill applies a slow. You can see here that this piece of information, it says that higher rarity enemies are less affected by slows, so it's 15% less for magic, 30 for rare, 50 for unique monsters. But I ran a little bit of math, and assuming that you can get between 15 and 50% chill, you know, some stuff is going to be stronger, might have more cold resist, you might not get up to 50% chill. But right now, these numbers look really good. I'm not saying that you'll have 100% slow on every single magic monster that you hit, but this combination is basically going to be our main defense layer. If the enemy can't even do anything, we're already winning, right? Like, they're not touching us. Gives us more time for our recoup to do its thing if we do take damage. I think that this is just going to be a winning combination. So my plans with Temp Chains will be to use Blasphemy Aura, and then I will self-cast it on bosses. Just because they have such a high slow penalty, the Blasphemy Aura actually has, as you can see on this section here, it says 41 to 50% less effective curses. Temporal Chains is a pretty nice amount of slow, and we don't just want to have 50% less of the 22 to 28% slow on bosses. We would rather that be a little bit higher. So I think there will be some general quality of life. Switching from blasphemy to self-casting this curse on bosses, it'll be like a feel it out playstyle thing. But generally speaking, this will be a very strong combo. And I'm going to combine this blasphemy setup with Dowager's Damning, which is a unique ring from POE1. It's confirmed to be back in POE2, which gives you an extra curse, and then Whispers of Doom on the passive tree for another additional curse. Assuming that we can have 3 useful curses, regardless if they're 41 to 50% less effective, they will still find use. They'll be good utility, or maximum resistance shred, or enfeeble for less damage taken. This will be a very strong setup in conjunction with slows, in conjunction with Recoup, just to help us stay alive a bit longer, in case our build doesn't really have too much armor and evasion early on. Of course, you can expect those kind of things on a more fleshed out, high level and geared character, but this is going to be day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into week 1 of a brand new game. We're going to be learning a bunch, trying out a bunch, failing a bunch, experimenting a bunch. I'm really excited. I'm too excited actually. I need to go for a nap before the early access start launches, but I wanted to make this video to clarify on 2 very pivotal mechanics which will make Chronomancer's leveling and maybe into the mapping and end game a lot more comfortable and keep us alive, hopefully, so fingers crossed. I will be posting updates, I will be streaming, so come and stop by if you want to chat or if you want to see what I'm doing. Thanks for watching. Like the video, leave a comment if you have something that you'd like to discuss. I reply to everyone on anything and everything within reason. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed POE2, and I will see you soon with even more POE2 videos.